Two Al's,
I
one
don't want to.
pod.
Oh,
We're doing it.
Jesus Christ, sir. Would you give me a hit start here and let me know when we're recording?
We're recording.
I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
Two Al's, one pod. We're a spinoff from the web series The Two Dicks. It morphed into this, actually, The Talking Dicks, and now we're two Al's and one pod. I'm Al Ducharme. I'm in Studio City, California at the moment. That is miserable Al Romas. I believe he's in Cape Canaveral, and he's on a cruise ship, and there's passengers sitting right behind him.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm in Canaveral. It's a port day. The first port we've hit from Bayonne, and nobody left the ship. I'll show you. Give you a quick.
Because you're in Canaveral.
It looks like a sea day. It's still Florida. You think people would? They're coming from shitty Bayonne.
Oh, that is true.
And
it must be a cheap cruise.
Get off the ship. I mean, it's warm. It's 85 degrees. Go get some lunch. Go enjoy the beach. But
how many days have you been on the ship before you got to this port?
I don't know. I didn't on aboard. Nobody. 2 days.
So you had a sea day.
Yeah. Maybe.
You had a sea day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And are you on the Wi-Fi or are you doing a cell signal?
No, I'm on their Wi-Fi, which is the worst in the fleet. It's broken, and they know it, and they don't fix it. And they pay, and everyone pays,
and everybody's paying.
And then everyone complains. The line from the Wi-Fi desk is a mile and a half. Everybody bitching, going, it doesn't work. People are young kids are all in the hallways on their laptops. The hallways, you have to step over teenagers. They're all on their laptops.
And they're on laptops? Teenagers on laptops? They get a signal.
Yeah, laptops.
Wow. So what are they tethering to their phones?
Or just a signal? Yeah. I think their phones, yeah.
Because they can't rely on the ship's Wi-Fi. That is sad.
It's terrible.
That is $1 billion ship too, isn't it? 1.2.
Yeah, I was in did the transatlantic. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm every night FaceTiming and talking to Kelly, and clear as a bell. We're half a mile from New Jersey, and the fucking thing drops. So it doesn't work. But
that's anyway, because they don't have the new satellite infrastructure Wi-Fi, right? What is it called?
Starlink.
Yeah, Starlink's supposed to be
But I think
good.
it's broken. I think what I heard from someone was whatever, it's busted. They know it, and they'll fix it in dry dock eventually. Because this thing's going over to England in a couple weeks, maybe dry dock it. I don't know. But it's not good. But what are you going to do? At least it's going to Europe, and they can deal with it there. And no more. Well, I'll still be going to Bayonne, though. I'm doing a lot of Bayonne this year. And boy, is there a more miserable place on the planet than Bayonne, New Jersey?
There may be one or two, but it's hard to find one. There's nothing there as far as being port friendly for somebody. It's far away from everything. I've walked from the ship to the little shopping center where there's some like restaurants and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I almost got killed. There's a sidewalk and then it disappears. And then there's a stretch of a quarter mile where everybody floors it and goes 50 miles an hour right by you. And there's bushes pushing you out towards the front of the vehicles. It's horrible. It's dangerous.
I've done that, and I've given that up now because, you're going to die on that road. So I just Uber. I go to the diner and, have a 3-hour breakfast and 10 coffees, and then stay in the bathroom for an hour.
You take an Uber, though, right?
I do Uber it, yeah, because that is a dangerous stretch there for that walk. But
I was being frugal and trying to get my exercise. That's why I did it. I said, it's a mile and a quarter.
Yeah,
I'll get my 2.5 miles.
I get it.
I was like, oh my God, brown, get the fuck out of the road, asshole. Because you're in New Jersey.
You're going to get 2.5 miles under a fucking truck tire or some shit. So, no, it's, but no one flew. Everybody's from New Jersey on this ship. And I did the welcome show, and I go, anybody fly? And they're like, no. And meanwhile, I'm up there going, Bayonne's the best port to leave from because it doesn't matter where you go after that. We're just not in Bayonne anymore. And, it's kind of like they're kind of dying on that. I'm thinking, well, what the fuck? And then I realized they're all from Bayonne. Nobody flew in. They're just Bayonne people. And I'm up there shitting on their city, which can't be news to them, though, this place. I mean, Bayonne is just horrible. And if you're listening in Bayonne, fucking move. What are you doing? I mean, you don't have to stay. There are
Oh
better
boy.
places. Sunny skies, beaches, warm weather. It's horrible.
I wonder if we have any
So I
Patreon
don't have my
members that are from
notes.
Bayonne.
I don't think we do. Well, I
So,
don't have my notes, as I said, because I misunderstood your late night message,
Yeah,
12:30 a.m.
I'm 3 hours behind him. So he said, hey, can we do it tomorrow morning? And I was in the middle of doing some other stuff. And I said, yes. I was actually doing 3 Zoom meetings.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's zooming with you? What's happening?
What's zooming with you? We're doing some stuff. We had some, we're doing some table reads. How about that?
Table reads?
For
what?
Someone has a script. So we did a table read. We had
they still do scripts and shit? That's still
we
a
had
thing?
15 people on each.
Really?
From each coast.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. That's cool.
I just thought it was going to be 5 or 6 of us. And all of a sudden, I was like, yep.
For a TV show type thing, or what?
For a pilot, they're
Okay.
still looking for funding and whatnot. But, you always want to throw your hat in. When someone asks you to do something like that, you're like, yeah, especially if they have a couple of big players that are attached. You're like,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Do they have a couple of big players? So give us a name.
No.
Don't leave us.
No, it's all NDA, man.
No. Come on. The thing's not going to air anyway. Give us a name. Fuck it.
All right.
Come on.
Have you heard of Leonardo?
Leonardo? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle remake. Cool, man.
No, it's the great grandson of Leonardo da Vinci.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, did you see that movie, that trailer with what's his name? The guy, it's playing like Bob Ross, but it's not Bob Ross.
Is that who's the actor? Owen Wilson is playing that. So what is it? Is it a parody of Bob Ross, or is it a guy that stole Bob Ross stole his persona?
I read a review on something. They said it's nothing about any of the real story. It's just they made up a phony story, and he's playing a guy who is Bob Ross, but he's not Bob Ross. He's got a completely different name, and it has nothing to do with his art being stolen and all that. It's just a different movie. And so people who've seen it are like, well, what the fuck? They went there thinking we're going to go see Bob Ross's story, but it's not Bob Ross's story. It's just they stole his persona and what he does, and then they made a whole different fictional movie about it.
So when I say parody, does it fall under the category of parody?
I don't know if it's a parody. No, I think it's like they just went, we want to make a movie about a guy who was a TV artist. And he'll look like Bob Ross, but he won't.
He had an
Bob
afro
Ross.
And everything, a beard. He looked. So is the family upset?
Sounds like him.
Is this family?
I don't
upset?
know. I didn't talk to the family yet. We're going to Zoom
you
later.
do remember,
I got a couple
though,
of Zooms myself later. A couple of table reads with the Ross family, and we're going to find out.
You're going to do a gummy and jerk off. Who are you kidding?
By the way, dude. Well, I would love to. I don't have any gummies. My supplier, if he's listening, failed me because he and his buddy do too many gummies, and they mailed it off with the wrong address.
You're getting them by.
Got it.
Oh, that's what that package is here.
Oh, well, enjoy it. I'm glad someone that I know at least is, because some fucking maniac right now in Clearwater is having a bag of gummies delivered. So he's supposed to resend them, but I left on Sunday, so I'm shit out of luck.
Hold on.
I'm going old school. Melatonin, my man. This connection
I'm getting
failing
a call.
us?
No, I'm getting a call from Salem, New York, and it came in through my computer.
Oh. This is one wild podcast right now.
It is one wild podcast. Oh, come on, man. You've seen me in Cozumel. We've done this in our car, your car. We did it in the Buick. We did it in the cigar lounge. You're just miserable. You're in a bad mood.
I miss the Regal, man. I sold the Regal. I miss it.
Yeah?
I miss it. I took your advice. Went one car.
And
one car, because 2 weeks out of the month away,
car payment, insurance. You can do an Uber for a fraction of the cost. And Kelly's got a car, and you guys are usually together when you're home.
Yeah, but did I tell you what happened with that whole thing? Kelly's lease was up, so we went to Ford. She had a Ford Edge,
Mhm.
and we wanted to trade it in and get a new one,
Mhm.
like that you do with leases. And they said, "That's a great idea. We have no cars, and if you were
Still
to do that, no cars, and if you were to do it, your car payment doubles."
doubles.
Yeah. So,
So you guys are taking
basically,
a
we
bus.
ended
You're
up-
on the city bus.
it would be cheaper. I'll tell you. We ended up buying her old car, and our payment now is about $100 more than it was for the lease.
Well, because the
So
lease is
figure that out.
designed that way because the built-in
Yep.
return on it. $100 more is not
Quite a world.
bad. Did they give you any credit for the lease towards the balance of the vehicle, or did they give you a discount
No.
of the?
No credit.
Did they give you
No.
a discount on?
But there's no cars available in the United States.
So the
the hell's
value of the
happened? Didn't we make
vehicle is
cars?
held to the original sticker price.
Yes, I would guess. I mean,
Wow.
but still, and then we let the car payments $100 more than it was, and we were told it's still like $300 less than the average out there.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
you
know
have
how
to look
people
at.
are doing it, man. Young people are fucked.
Young people and
They just
people
are
with families that
fucked.
are paycheck to paycheck. This is horrible. And then there's more billionaires than ever. So it makes no sense. Have you been
I'm
watching
telling you, man.
Succession, the HBO
No.
show Succession
No.
with Brian Cox playing the father or the matriarch of the family? It's
No, I
really
should.
good.
Help him. I like that.
It's produced by Adam McKay, director and writer, and Will Ferrell. They are business partners. And,
Are they still? Because I know they had
they had a
out.
falling out. Yeah, apparently Will wanted to play a lead.
Dr. Jerry Buss in that Showtime special that I watched, that series about the Lakers. He wanted to play Jerry Buss, and McKay said, "I don't see it." They put John Riley in there, who's fantastic, and that is supposedly there was a rift in those two.
Yeah, well, apparently Farrell also had multiple commitments, and there was a window. It all comes down to that. But they were like killing it.
Yeah,
the two of them. They did Step Brothers together, right? Am I right about that?
Step Brothers, yes,
bunch of stuff.
and Anchorman, of course.
Yeah,
I think Apatow directed it, but McKay was involved in the writing, and yeah, I got to check out Succession definitely. I just don't. There's so many shows we've talked about this. There's so much, and it's to start one is just, even though it's great, but the start for me, the first few, you got to learn those characters. And
you did it with Games of Thrones or Game of Thrones.
Well,
sorry.
yes, I did.
You
yes.
did because your chickie was into it.
Yeah, she wanted me to watch it, so I did, and it was very good. I enjoyed it. I didn't watch the prequel though. I haven't seen that. Have you seen the prequel too?
We have not
GOT.
indulged in any of this at all, and we should. We should.
Yeah. And then I was watching that Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner, but then I thought, well, he's not coming back, so what's the point of continuing? But now he looks like he's doing great. So
yeah, I saw him on a treadmill.
Yeah.
I saw him on a treadmill. He had a harness around him.
Sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of, the legs are moving.
The legs are moving, but if his acting is there and he's coherent, they can do a lot of stuff with just him doing scenes of dialogue.
Or maybe they have a snowplow run the guy over in the thing.
And he's in a wheelchair like Ironside. I haven't seen the show, but there's still posters of it. There's posters of him around. So I don't know.
It was a different time in America when you'd have a fat man in a wheelchair as the star of the show. It's never going to happen again. Ironside.
Maybe someone who maybe trans, and they'll call it I guess they could still call it Ironside.
What would they call it? Yeah, that's I don't know what his pronouns would be. What's the pronoun for iron? I don't know the table of elements.
Right.
Failed science when I was in 9th grade. That was a different time though, man. Look, we had a show called Jake and the Fat Man.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Today.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Why wasn't it offensive to us?
A lot of those shows that you could stream somewhere or see somewhere have all been pulled from libraries because of the woke and political correctness. And that's why we had to change the name of the Talking Dicks comedy podcast for that very reason. It is now
exactly
2 Al's, 1 pod.
And yet, even that, I'll have the cruise director go, "What's your intro?" And I go, 2 Al's, 1 pod podcast. And they'll come back 3 times. What was it again? Go, 2 Al's, 1 pod.
You got to write it, man. You have to write
then
it.
It goes back again. 2 Al's. I'm like, how? It's pretty easy. 2 Al's, 1 pod.
It's not
difficult.
When people are afraid to speak in front of a crowd, they don't have retention. They don't want to mess it up. 2 wads, 1 gal. What is it?
Tension.
2 twats.
I know.
1 pal.
I know. But I tell you, man, everything's so complicated today. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God damn, it's like we're just comedians. And now I have to be, you're your own promoter. You're your own publicist.
I'm editor, producer over here.
Editor. But I did this open bar special, and now it's like, you got to cut it up. They're cutting it up, but you got to do shit. You got to promote it. You get a message. Well, are you promoting enough? Are you sending up? And it's like, I feel weird. I kind of feel a little weird too. Like, I'm not that guy with, look at me. I'd rather just put up a thing for the pod, which I don't feel that way about it with stand up. You know what I mean? It's like, here I am, give me likes.
Yep. It's all promotion.
That's weird.
Are we going to give Pete Lee credit for doing the short clips on social media? He started that like 3 years ago. He started filming every show. Pete Lee, and he was doing material, and then he got into crowd work because, again, he was burning a lot of material. So then he started doing crowd work, and he started filming audience reaction in him, and then he just grabbed the best clip, just the best clip of 30 seconds to a minute, and then show it. Audience laugh, boom, right to his calendar with music, showing all of his dates. It's very slick. But he was the first one that I know
he's like
was doing.
He's like the Dane Cook of clips. Yeah,
but he was doing it all himself.
And
he was. Yeah. I worked with him in Aruba for 2 weeks, and he was filming every show, taking the best version of that clip or whatever spontaneous thing was happening with the crowd. And you have a couple of those. Your clip showing right now is about restless leg bits that you're doing, and some audience member.
But it's like not the bit per se. Yeah,
sounds like she's a little buzzed, and you're playing off of that, so it becomes crowd work. And
it was the beginning of the restless leg bit, and a woman was like, "I have it," and then she's telling me that's not the way it is. It's like, yeah, lady, we're trying to be funny up here.
It is funny because you're trying to do your bit. She's disruptive, but you're turning it back on her, and you're like showing how ridiculous she sounds because she starts doing a monologue after you explained what it is.
Right.
And she starts explaining to it. And he goes, yes, that's why I added humor to it. I'm
right.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah. And you can see actually on the clip, there's a couple of audience members up front. I saw this one woman, she's just like shaking her head like, oh my God, this woman won't shut up. But that's fine. I don't want to burn. I'm not a 25-year-old comic writing, an hour every week. I mean, I got a couple of new jokes every now and then, but I don't want although I say that, and then I saw Tom Papa on some podcast, and he was saying the same thing. He goes, I don't want to put up my act out there. And Seinfeld told him, how many people do you think are going to see it? Honestly, even if 1 million people saw it, you're still performing in front of people. So the average person in that audience hasn't seen your clip.
No,
it's not like.
But I think they're. But I disagree with Seinfeld because
I don't know.
In this regard, because Tom Papa, he's a higher profile, so he is drawing people, and he does really work on a polished set when he releases one of his specials every few years. It's polished, it's tight, but again, Seinfeld's a billionaire. He's coming to the end of his career.
Louis C.K. put out a special from the Garden a month ago on his site, and then he puts out another one like last week.
He's very prolific, and he does say, "Hey, listen, there are clips. There's some material. There's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes of stuff from the Garden material, but the rest is all new because he's a machine." And he had some downtime because he he was
We all
jerking off.
did. We had COVID 2 years. There's no excuse.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
But he's also one of those
I mean,
prolific people.
Very impressive. Mm-hmm.
Bernadette.
I mean, whether you like his comedy or not, that's quite amazing.
Bernadette did say she posted yesterday, the day before, all these canceled guys are doing better than ever. How do I cancel my husband?
Yeah, that was funny.
Of course, I said to her, I go, should I just say you're fat? That ought to do it. And she goes, yes, post that. I go, no, I'll get shit. She goes, yes, post it. You better post it. If you don't, I will. So I posted it. And of course, people are afraid of it. Oh, well.
Are they afraid of it, really? Now, are they really afraid of it? Are they afraid of it? No.
I don't know.
But yeah, I just, I'm amazed by his output of material. It's amazing to me. But all these guys are the same. My niece saw Chris DiStefano at the Tampa Theater. He sold it out. And she said it was almost all new stuff. And he had just put out a special.
Yep.
I don't get it. I mean, I love it. I don't get it.
I think they're programmed
turn it out that way
where they're being prolific. I will say that a lot of stuff that is, it's not killer material, but it's just kind of.
Okay, you're back.
I'm not frozen on my end, and I'm recording, so it doesn't matter. You got to worry about it, not me.
You are frozen, but I can hear you.
Doesn't matter.
So
I'm fluid, and it doesn't matter. I'm talking right now. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
They are putting out.
You got one of these. You got your hands up, and
yeah. It doesn't matter. I'm recording it, so I'm fluid on my side.
Patreon members, this is what you pay for.
No, you're not. They're not saying, dummy. Listen to me. I'm recording, so it's fine. I'm not frozen on my end. Okay.
Now I've lost the audio of Al.
Well, that's good. I wish I could mute you right now. I could.
Well, Al's frozen.
Doesn't matter.
There's no audio. Oh, I think I hear him. Are you back, sir?
It doesn't matter if I'm frozen. If I'm talking, I'm fluid and I'm recording from my source. You're recording.
Yes, sir. I just heard. That's the first thing I heard in the last minute.
I get it. I understand.
Now you're back.
I'm back. And the entire time I was telling you to shut up.
I like to let. Okay. No, I couldn't hear you. That's the. You know what I mean?
I understand. This happened during one of the table reads. We were doing a table read last night, and all of a sudden, we read our lines, and the guy goes, "Al, say your line." All of a sudden, it starts playing back to me and Bernadette what we just said, and they don't see it. So it was like, it was glitchy. It was glitchy.
Yeah. I wonder if it was Zoom. I mean, it was around, but if COVID never happened, would we be doing this on Zoom right now? Or would they, you think? I mean, would that have taken off?
Zoom was around because people were doing it remotely. The technology got better quicker because of the pandemic, just like anything else with weaponry. When a war breaks out, that's when they're most creative with weapons.
Yeah.
They speed the process up. The vaccine, they speed the process up.
Gotcha. Are you going to get another booster if it comes out this summer? Would you get another one?
My doctor, who's not a big vaccine person, said the new one, they're trying to get it where you only get it every 6 months to a year. And if so, he said he recommended it. Because do you really want to go every 2 months?
I'm out.
Vaccines are down by 90%.
I'm done. I mean, I've had enough.
I've had 5. I've had 5.
And I've had COVID 3 times or something. And it's a cold at this point. So
I've had COVID, one that I know of. But, I'm just coming off of a 10-day sinus infection. So I didn't even bother testing.
Is it over?
Well, I say it's over. And I have 2 days that are great. And then I wake up one morning and I'm clogged. I'm like, is this it? Is it allergies? Wow. I clean out my sinuses. I take a allergy pill and then I'm fine.
Claritin?
No, I'm doing a generic CVS brand.
Gotcha.
Where's
the next trip, sir? Where are you headed?
You know that I'm going. I'm going to Tampa. I'm going to your backyard.
But then where does it go from?
Where does it go?
Overnighting.
Where does it go? It goes to Cozumel, and we go to the Caribbean.
Okay. Well, you have some more exotic cruises than I do, so I didn't know.
I do. After that, I have some Mexican Riviera, which is the west coast of Mexico, down to Mazatlan and Acapulco.
Got to be careful there at night if you're there. I mean, there's gang activity.
The ship leaves at 5 o'clock.
But Cozumel, the gangs are seeping in there.
Oh, are they?
There's killings at Cancun and even Quintana Roo. There's been tourist killings at night, but watch your back there, buddy.
Oh, we usually sail
You know what I mean?
at 4 or 5 o'clock. It's all aboard at 3:30.
All right, just saying.
You're there all the time. What are you doing? You're in Canaveral.
I haven't been there in
That's more
months.
dangerous.
I haven't been to Cozumel. It's one of how it goes. Like I was there, it seemed like every week, and I haven't been there in 3 months. And Kelly's cousin lives there, and she has a beautiful home. And she's like, "Oh, I'll pick you up. Me and my husband will take you out to lunch." And I'm like, "All right." I haven't been back since. But
so what's the deal? You're talking about crime. They're killing tourists. What's happening? Are they robbing them, or are they caught in a shootout because of drugs?
Both is there is shootouts, but they've been kidnapping and holding for ransom, trying to get
just regular Joe like me.
Yes. There was a woman and her husband from New Jersey. They went to Cancun, and they were at a resort, and they left the resort, and they went, walking around.
Say you leave the resort,
Cancun.
If you leave the resort, you're in Mexico, and if there's a spike in kidnappings, and who's paying ransom?
Why go to Mexico? Then why go to Mexico?
We'll stay on the resort.
If you can't leave the resort.
Then don't go to Mexico. Then go.
Go stay in the U.S.
So is this
get killed here?
Is this happening? Is it widespread? What's the deal?
What am I?
Is there an uptick?
Am I CNN? I don't know. I'm just I'm like anyone else. I read 2 lines and I think I know what I'm talking about, and I send it out there. I don't know shit.
Someone posted something about a young Japanese woman got the vaccine and died 2 days later. And they show a person in the bed. You have no idea if it's a man or a woman. It's obscured, and there's no links to any medical anything. It's just a picture of someone in a hospital bed that may be Asian, that may be a man or a woman, and they died at 24 from getting. It's like that's the fake news, anti-vaxxer fake news.
Yes. Well, everyone now, if you're under 35 and you die, it must have been the vaccine.
And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's just like you just can't post it without having some sort of proven.
Well, you ever see an
reference.
Argument online? Someone will go source, and then that argument fades. No one ever. They don't come back.
It's
source? Nope. I got nothing. I don't know. You know what I mean? But hey, we were talking off air. One of our compadres passed.
Yes.
A couple of days ago.
I didn't know.
I never met him. No, me neither. Never met him, but seemed like a great guy, comedian. People loved him. I mean,
everybody raved.
Outpouring on Facebook.
And they said he was super funny, talented actor, improv, and stand-up comedian. And Brian Bradley, I believe his name was.
Yeah, Orlando. He was living in. He was a comedy store, one of the early comedy store guys. I saw pictures of him on stage with Robin Williams doing improv and Pryor, and he was in an improv group in Orlando. They used to have one at Disney, the Comedy Warehouse, and I mean, it's. I'm telling you, it's weekly. We just got to stay alive, man. We're going to be the biggest comics and the biggest podcast in about 30 years. If we can hang in, 30 years from now, we're going to be undeniable. So.
Well, Rick Overton, comedian Rick Overton, actor Rick Overton, he's been a comedian for 40 years. Big improv guy, too. And he was very tight with Robin Williams back in the improv days. He mentioned him. He said, yes, I did improv with him. And they were like comedic genius kind of guy. And I'm like, how come I don't know this man?
Yeah, he would do Celebrity, somebody wrote about, and he would do his show. Then he had another show, adult. It was all improv. He brought people on stage, and he would improv with just regular Joes, but make it, setups that were funny, and they said it was killer. So he had multiple shows. He was at Bassani's, twice a year. McCurdy's, all the clubs I do in Florida, and Les McCurdy wrote a long thing. They're shocked, they're sad, and it's just, it's sad, but We just got to hang in there, man. We're gonna be at the top, because they're dropping like flies, these guys. So
he had some health issues towards the end of his life, though. I think it was related to it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So don't get that vaccine.
No. Well, that's the killer. God damn it. He probably had the vax. Did it. He was a healthy 68-year-old man, got vaccinated, and now he's gone. But it's
You're
sad.
starting rumors.
When you see you know what I mean? When someone dies and I don't know them, but I'm like, oh, that's sad. But then when you see like a picture and it's like the picture from the theater, it's too close to home. You know what I mean? You see the thing, it's like Celebrity Theater, 11 p.m., adult comedy, Brian Bradley. It's like, Jesus, we all have that picture, or we've all seen that poster on the ship, and you go, the guy's gone now, so it's too bad. But we're moving up the ladder, Al. It's another notch up for us. I was gonna post about his dates, but he doesn't have to. Felt like that, and that joke bombed when I did it couple months ago.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's more of a locker room, comedic locker room, but you did it to like other performers. It's a comedian joke that you would do.
It's comedians only
in the green room, off to the side.
Right.
But once you're outside of that social media and you're dealing with singers and jugglers and friends of the deceased,
I didn't think about that. I thought, everyone will get this. Everyone has that sense of humor. And then I posted it, and then a bunch of magicians and singers were.
Well, I did it recently with a female comic whose brother is very famous. And she said that she was on a plane. It was a red eye. And the flight attendant was having a full-on conversation with the passenger like it was noon. And she said, I had enough. And I get up and I screamed at them to shut the fuck up. So I made a joke about how were the plastic handcuffs for the rest of the flight.
Okay.
And apparently it caused a little bit of a issue. She's a comic. And everybody started chiming in because she went from 0 to 60.
Yeah. Yeah. I know who you're talking. It's weird. Yeah.
I had a glass of wine. I went, oh, shoot.
That's funny. But we're supposed to be comedians, and you're on a page of entertainers. You think you could just joke around.
If it was just comics, I'd probably
private group. It
would have been fine. But I did the same thing you did. I went entertainers, and no one attacked. But she did defend myself, and I did say, I said I felt the same way many times. And I usually just grind my teeth, and I go, I would love to have done what you had done, but at the same time, she didn't get up and say, "Hey, can you guys? We're trying to sleep." She went from 0 to 60, and then. The person who's upset becomes the bad person, the crazy person. That's all my point.
Well, she has a little different setup too, because she's, complains all the time on that page and everything. But, she really, if she wasn't working, she's okay. Her brother it'll be okay. You know what I mean? She has a little safety net. That's what I'm saying. But, but yeah, you try to save it a little bit. I didn't save it. I just feel like, fuck it. I don't care. These people. You know what I mean? Like, they don't get that joke. It's a nothing joke. I said,
Well, we're all hypersensitive these days, too. So,
yeah.
That's the way of the world.
We had a question. I don't have my notes, but I remember the question, and maybe we've answered it. My brain is scrambled right now. The question was, and I don't remember who wrote it, but thanks for the question, and answer them if you on Instagram. I put them up there a lot. If you have a question for the podcast, we'll be happy to answer it. This guy or girl wrote, "How did you guys meet? How did you meet?" And I think we might have answered it, but fuck it. Let's do it. You want to start it off, Al, and then I'll take it from there.
I don't even think they call it an S&M club anymore.
Well, it was, Plato's Retreat, I think it was. Is that it? Remember that place?
How
gross were
I actually don't, and I'm being honest.
In the 70s, there was a club in New York, like a filthy underground club. Not even underground.
Well, I mean, the rumor, I don't know of it. I've never been to it, but...
Yeah. You would go with your wife and just, it was
eyes wide shut.
big orgy go, but they said it was disgusting. Like it was just the grossest thing. But people were so repressed. You know, these are couples who were born in the 40s, and by the 70s, and they heard about you can go and fuck strangers. They were into it, you know, because the repressed people. And then by the 80s, they didn't need it anymore. They had Studio 54, and they could just.
And then
do it
the
in the
AIDS
open
epidemic
with
kind of
cocaine.
changed it a little bit.
God looked down and said, enough fun.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know if God would say that, but people say that.
Mm-hmm.
God decided that was enough. We met there.
We met the quota.
And, yeah. Where did we meet, Al? I don't know.
It was one of the New York stand-up comedy clubs. I want to say Stand Up New York on the Upper West Side.
Very possible.
Was probably it. You were living in the city at the time.
Yes, sir.
It may have been when I was coming to the city before I moved.
I don't have a specific. It's funny how Stand Up New York at that time was a really good club to work and be passed in, and now I don't even know if it exists. I mean, it exists, but you have the Cellar and that, you know, and the Stand, and those clubs have way surpassed it.
Yeah,
but
when I was first in the city, it was Dangerfield's Stand Up New York, the comic strip, occasionally, and then those are the three for me. So it had to be one of those three.
Yeah,
and then
I think it was Stand Up New York.
Yeah, and then I saw you like a year later. Same situation, and we kind of like there was no time lost in between. We picked right up. We were being silly, wisecracking one another off stage, blah blah blah.
Yes.
And then it happened.
You're not really hanging though, or anything. We didn't hang.
No, it was a brief
comedic
interaction. But it happened a few times, and every time I saw you, it was like right where we picked up. So that was kind of our connection. And then I heard you had moved to Tampa. And then you would come back to the city once in a while, and it was the same ordeal. We'd pick up right where we left off. And then years later, we're on a ship together. And I had been doing ships for years, and you had been doing it, but we never sailed together. So we did the comedy club shows.
I walked in. I remember going on Allure, walked into the comedy room, and there you were, and it was like seeing you back in 19 whatever it was, 2000 or whatever.
98.
Picked right up. So 98 maybe, yeah. So picked right up, and I don't think we've worked since together on a ship. Which is
we've
insane.
requested it.
We've requested it, all right. Yeah. But I don't know. It just doesn't happen. Maybe it'll happen at some point this year, but you never know. But it would be nice. We get a lot done. An in-person pod, a 2 Dicks episode would be nice.
And that's how the web series came about and whatnot.
Exactly.
So I hope that answers the question again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that one though we did the first. We just did the whatever that 2 Ls. What
the
did we
Tale
call
of
that
2
one?
Ls.
2 L.
The Tale of 2 Ls was the first sketch we did. It was like 3 or 4 minutes, and then a month later we were on that same ship.
We worked again.
Yes, and that's when I said, "Hey, I want to do this thing where it's 1950s cops interrogating somebody. The camera's the person we're interrogating, but we just keep coming through the door and opening it and slamming it and interrupting." So it was like the camera was a character, the door was another character, and then you and I. So it was like a 4-character thing, but only 2 were actual people, and it worked.
At comedian Jimmy Della Valle claims he created it for us. I met this character at McCurdy's on the open bar party, and he said, he was kind of like cocky as shit, and he goes, kind of like, "You're welcome," like one of those deals. Like I never met the guy, and he's like, "You're welcome."
I think he was busting your balls.
No, he was very serious about the fact that he was doing something, you saw it, he helped you, and then you came out with 2 dicks. So he was
doing an Italian guy in the mob, and he started posting clips of it. He said, "Hey, it's on Amazon. It's my series on." He said, "My series on Amazon," but basically it was a web series, and it wasn't a full episode. It was shorts, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Right. Maybe he just thinks we came out with 2 dicks. he thought it was similar in a way.
I just said,
nothing
hey,
similar, but,
where I just bought some equipment and whatnot. Who are you using for editors? What kind of equipment? We started comparing equipment, and I knew sound was important. So I said, I bought this mic, which I was just asking him, picking his brain about what kind of equipment. And, I said, some of your scenes, the sound is very good. So I was curious, so I was picking his brain. But I had already made my purchases and whatnot, and I was doing my own editing. They had an editor, he had a director. Yeah. So we were like a 2-man operation, and he had his actors that were comedian friends, did both behind and in front of the camera, all that, which we all do. But you and I were taking it on.
Yeah. No, it was funny because I know he had nothing to really do with it. And I thought he was kind of joking. Then I realized, this guy's serious. And then I just walked away. Okay. I go, yeah, all right. See you. No. But he had taped that night. I saw a few minutes of his at the end of his taping. Very New York. I don't know where he's from in New York, but it was one of those, I'm not buying this accent. I think this accent, it sounds like you're making it up. You're a guy from Ohio who's trying to be a New Yorker. That's how weird it was. But then he's off stage doing it too. So I was like, all right, I guess that's your accent. But I never met him in New York or heard of him. So I don't know. I don't know where.
Yeah, he was around the periphery. Yeah. We'd cross paths. I don't know what clubs he was working or whatnot. New York Comedy Club, maybe, or whatever. But
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, then he went on to tell me how many weeks he has at Carnival and how he's, all that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, very good. It's like one of those guys you go, how you doing? And they give you their schedule. It's like, dude, I just asked how you doing. So, I don't need to know that you're working all year and you're doing well. It's fine. So,
Yeah, because I was talking to him about Carnival. I said, I heard Carnival wants you to have, like 2 hours of material. And he said, I got 5. I'm like,
wow.
I go, well, good for you, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing because I saw 10 minutes of it. It wasn't very good. Anyway,
this would be the one podcast he listens to.
Good. Good, man. Trash us. Fucking cancel us. Whatever it takes.
5 hours of material is a lot.
This I think we managed to get through pretty good, pretty unaffected by the freezing.
Yeah, I will take out a chunk in the center where you were completely off. But
okay,
it's interesting you had passengers in your foreground for much of it.
Really?
I thought there were guests because they were standing up looking.
Oh yeah, I should have had a guest. If I known we were doing, maybe I get the cruise director. Joff Eaton,
no,
British character. He's good. He's a funny guy and does a good job. And I did my welcome show, and I think he could tell because I'm like, welcome is not my thing, really. I can do it. And then we came off. He goes, I don't have a late night scheduled, but I bet you'd love a late night, huh? And I go, yeah, it'd be great. I'd rather do it because I was going to do farewell also clean.
Oh,
he goes, he goes, let's try to get you a late night on Thursday at 10:30.
And the farewell. Man.
No, instead of the farewell.
Oh, yes. Don't do both.
No.
Don't let them lock you into both.
No. But I was like, that's great. But I think I pushed it a little at the welcome. Nothing, but he could tell like, this guy is more of a late night guy than a welcome aboard character. So I'm waiting to hear. I haven't heard yet whether it's going to happen, but I'm hoping for Thursday or Friday, whatever, do a late night comedy. But this is such an easy gig. I did 19 shows on that crossing. Then I come on Anthem. I do a welcome, and I'm off for the next, 6 days. So it's
different schedule.
Simple gig.
Yeah, these.
I don't have my gummies. I don't have my gummies.
Overuse us or underuse us. Although I've been kind of.
You failed me. Yeah. My dealer, Aaron.
I get it.
Aaron.
All right. Say goodbye to the people.
Oh, is that it? We're done? I was just getting rolling now. I was just warming up here. Getting a hang of this thing.
Good luck in prison.
Iceberg, dead ahead. Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Two Owls, One Pod podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/The Two Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.